All right, another week down. We're 12 weeks out from the Ohio, um, and we've got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to show you. But this week has been really interesting, I think, for me, in that just starting a new job and the training and having to incorporate. Having less flexibility in my training, having to incorporate meals, which Brittany has been so nice to help with. Yeah,
You're welcome.
Incredible meals that if you're lucky, she'll share how she prepares them. It's just wow, what a difference it makes. It's just throwing something in a Tupperware container and just chewing a few times and then swallowing it because it just doesn't it doesn't taste like food, but yeah, so that's some things that we can talk about. But I have to tell you, like on my side, Brittany's totally different, but on my side, now 12 weeks out from 13 and 12 weeks out, I realized that I am tired. I mean, tired of dieting. I just the cravings are through the roof and yeah, so this is a tough week and I got to pull it together. Because I only have 12 weeks left, and it's like you're at that point where wow, I can do really well, and it's almost like I just want to fast forward 12 weeks, but yeah, it's been tough with that, and then dieting in corporate America is also very difficult because you're trying to fit these meals in when you're trying to produce, be productive at work. Which is a little different than what I've done before, where I had flexibility between one meeting and another. So that for me has been kind of difficult. And then the training, just getting it in at a time that I'm not really accustomed to, a lot earlier in the day, while maintaining the clients that I have for training, and making sure that I'm as passionate as I was before I started this process of a new job and this diet again. So a lot of interesting things for me. So this isn't, we've gone through this before in the quest for the Arnold. So you guys know the drill. You know what goes in one week, the other. We can talk about the diet, but right now I think the focus most of us have is on Brittany. Brittany Walker and the Ohio, and that being such a big show, and then that being a stepping, if you will, just the next step in getting to pro status, which I think for all intents and purposes she is, but in the IFBB, a pro, which hopefully we'll accomplish next year. Mm-hmm. So enough about me. Brittany, how was your week in dieting and training and all of that?
This week was pretty good, especially compared to the prior week because I didn't get as much sleep, which I talked about a little bit with you actually at week 13. But this week was a little bit different. I mean, I didn't have an enormous amount of sleep that I really wanted to, but my training was really, I was motivated in the gym. Mm-hmm. I hit every group this week. I did take a day off, actually. I hadn't had one for quite some time. So it just kind of worked out where one day I was just a little tired. It happens to the best of us, So I took the day off and kind of rested. But
so to be clear, when you say take a day off, you just, once you're done working all the body parts, you just continue. You cycle them in again and mm-hmm. again and again. Mm-hmm. So you're always in the gym. I mean, every day you try to do something.
Yeah, every day I focus on usually 1 to 2 groups. Uh-huh. Either bis and tris one day, shoulders the next, back. Sometimes I'll hit back on the same day. I do shoulders a little bit. Leg day, I leave by itself. Yeah. Today. So every time I'm in the gym, I'm working on something different. I don't do anything 2 days in a row, mm-hmm. Which a lot of people ask me. Some people don't really know, especially getting in the gym, what should I do? What should I pair together? What shouldn't I? But I do not do back to back. One day I'll do, something totally different than I did the day before, just to let your muscles recover and so on. So.
Yeah, that's you got to keep in mind that when I spoke about what I did in Quest for the Arnold, that's for bodybuilding purposes. I'm proud to bring someone who is not a bodybuilder. You know, a lot of times I hear this, that, this just people asking, oh, Brittany, yeah, she's like a bodybuilder, right? No, she's not a bodybuilder. She's a bikini model. It's totally different. You know, she's trying to, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're trying to create shape where you need to create shape, but more importantly, stay trim and lean and
feminine.
Yes.
Very feminine. I go for I like to stay small. That's just me. Some people prefer a different shape to themselves, but I like to stay small. I like to keep my curves, which might be impossible to get rid of. I've got hips that are kind of a little wider, but so it helps me with that. But I do like to stay smaller, leaner, and keep that feminine look, that bikini type look. So.
Yeah, which is, I've always thought it was kind of interesting to see some of the figure competitors that their training does lean more toward bodybuilding. In the off season, just balloon, just get really big, and then just to have to lose it all and kill themselves getting ready for a show. I know bodybuilders are notorious for that, and I think that was kind of got popular some years ago, and now I think even bodybuilders are staying closer to a contest weight than before. But there's a reason.
I think they're grabbing a hold of the lifestyle too a little bit more, because it's spreading so quickly that everyone is really understanding why it's so important that it's not just a part-time thing anymore even for bodybuilders. It's a way that we want to eat. It's not that we have to. It's, I think, more of a desire to want to eat in a better way.
Yeah, definitely more health conscious than I think they've ever been before. But you spoke to me when we first started talking about nutrition and how you do what you do, how you prepare, which was a novelty for me because I had never met, I don't think I ever met a model or had the opportunity to ask a model that was willing to share secrets. What do you do? I mean, I would ask her, how close to a photo shoot do you put color on? Do you even put color on? How do you do all these things in preparation so I can compare it to what I do, or if, for some of the girls that I help, so I can help them. So one of the things that really you were impressed and you were very adamant about from the very beginning is I never, ever, ever get too far away.
I said never, ever, ever?
I think so, pretty much. Or maybe you just, you were just very, 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 absolutely, I do not get too far away from where I need to be for a photo shoot, because it can cost you money. If they call you and they need a model in a week or 2 weeks and you're out of shape.
Not only do I not prefer it, because it's just something that I like to stay where I'm at. Well, first of all, I kind of live it, so it's easier to maintain. But especially for the fitness side of things. I've been in fitness for a long time. Some fitness modeling, just a little bit more so within the last couple of years, really. Just getting into this competition thing within the last year. Thought about it for a while, but this is the next step. However, I can't take that off time or that off season that some bodybuilders talk about and so on, and just go and have whatever you want. Don't get me wrong. I've had a few times where I've really enjoyed some food. The moments after, I definitely don't think that. It just doesn't sit right anymore. You just feel so tired and it's just not the same. So I think a lot of it is mind. That thing that I don't have anymore, I'm just gonna have it and it's gonna be amazing. Well,
and it's never quite as good as you conjure it up in your mind, huh? Yeah.
No, not at all.
That's interesting. I feel the same way. You diet for so long and you think, oh, when I'm not dieting anymore, I'm gonna eat this and this and this and this. And then when you do, you're just it's like wanting to go on a date with someone, and then you're on the date and you realize like, no, it's not going to work. But anyway, of course I had to use that analogy. But okay, so I think it's really interesting in how you train, and I like to compare it to, and I learn stuff from Brittany all the time, and how she keeps herself small and tight, with this training, which really is interesting to me, and how she doesn't really take many days off. Where, I've always preached, like, you got to take time off, that's when you build, but then we have here a totally separate case. Someone who needs to stay small and tight and ready to go at a moment's notice for, any kind of a job.
Yeah, and even if I do take, a day here or there, I usually at least do something, or I'm active throughout the day. Like, I don't think there's really any rest day for me.
Yeah.
But, even if I just get in and do just a few things, or if I just go in for abs and calves, it just makes you feel a little bit, bit better. But I'm also not one of those people that's like so hooked on the gym, like my day is going to be absolutely ruined if for some reason like I can't make it. Like, I'm not like so hooked, that some people think, oh, goodness gracious, she's not going to be able to survive if she misses. I'm okay with missing.
Which I've always, for me, if I don't know what time I'm going to work out at, if it's not scheduled, if someone's not there, well, I train with Mike Davies, so I always know what time I'm going to work out. But say he's out of town for a week, like this coming week he's on vacation. I'm a little bit concerned because now I don't have that accountability that someone's at the gym waiting for me to train at a certain hour. So if I wake up in the morning and I'm not quite sure what time I'm going to train, sometimes I knowing myself, I probably would miss more workouts, a lot more workouts than I do now. I'd like to think I'd get them all in, but I have to be honest, I'm not sure. What I really admire about Brittany is that she doesn't have a set hour. She's so busy as being, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but mom, work, that you don't know. Elaborate on that.
Well, I work just like every other normal person normally. Quite a bit I work. But, no matter what leading into the day, I know that I've got to fit it in somehow, some way. So, getting up in the morning, going off to work, if I've got someplace to be after, sometimes it runs over. I've got meetings, I've got somebody that I'm going to meet for fitness stuff or whatever it might be. I know that I'm going to fit it in. There's one thing that I talked about in an interview that I did with Dennis, actually closer to the Arnold. Put a bag in the car. Mm-hmm. The second you get home, you're not going to the gym. Especially if it's not something that you do on a daily basis that you're not used to. So you talk about motivation. If you want to kill it, don't pack your bag. Mm-hmm. But if you have it with you, no matter when you're out and about, like all of a sudden time comes up, somebody canceled on you, your date ended up not doing something, you want to burn some steam off or frustration, take your butt to the gym, use what you have in the car, it's right there, and it just makes you feel so much better. So that's something I always have clothes in the gym. There's been a few times where I forgot my shoes, so now I've got a couple extra pairs ready to go because that's the worst ever. Yeah. But keeping that in your car so that you don't have the excuse of having to go home and sit down and then one thing after another happens and so on. But yeah, I've got to fit it in wherever I can.
That's amazing. Because, and I appreciate that because I don't know if I could do that. There's rumors in the social media world that you had a workout this Saturday at 6:30 in the morning.
Yep.
6:30 in the morning on Saturday. Talk about fitting it in whenever you can.
I did, yes.
Yeah. And what did you work out?
We did a lot with basically glutes, hams, back.
Huh. Wow.
It was a good workout, especially for 6:30 in the morning. Talk about getting so much done before noon. I did that workout, which lasted from 6:30 till about 7:30. We went over just a little bit because towards the end we finished on some abs. But right after that we went to another gym and I did some calves for a little bit, which normally, that's not normally what I do. But so then we were there until maybe, I don't know, 8:39. By that time, guess what? Costco was open, so now I could go grocery shopping. So that was like the filler. So we rushed over to Costco, did some weekly grocery shopping, ate. Actually, we ate before Costco because they weren't open yet.
Yes.
And then finished grocery shopping. And, we were ready to go and done by 11.
Yeah.
So we had, the whole day. And everyone was like, oh, wow, like getting up at 6:30 is pretty nice. I'm like, let's do it every Saturday. So we have a group, actually, that Dennis kind of put together. And it's been really good. It's been good.
Yeah, I think that's incredible, and that's something that I wish I had more discipline in, because if I don't have anything going on in a day, I'll just take my time. I'll wake up. I'll take a shower. I don't know. Oh, I haven't read this. I've had this magazine sitting here for like a week. I haven't read it. I'll read it, and then I'll do one thing or another. By the time I finally get out the door, it might be noon. Then I got to work out, and then before I know it, it's done. The day's done. And when you have a kid, you just, and then they're asking to do something, and you're like, I have no time. Well, you do have time. It's just that the time you did have, you weren't quick on it. You weren't quick to start doing things on it. So that was a really interesting lesson, I think, for this week. For you, getting a lot of stuff done. So before we go on, there's one more thing. I think it's awesome that we're able to do this kind of interview, because this is Brittany Walker, and I know a lot of people have questions like, what do you do? Like, I don't know, what's your favorite color? What does Brittany drive? All this stuff. I mean, it's kind of funny to see the questions on Facebook and the people who really look up to you, but. Along those lines, you saw a movie this weekend. She saw a movie.
I wasn't going to share that actually with anybody.
Oh, really? Well, I think it was kind of interesting to see her. I've never seen Brittany get a little flustered or I mean, the best looking guy can walk.
Yeah. Might have been in it.
Oh yeah. I've never seen, literally the best looking guy in the world could walk by Brittany and she's just totally oblivious. But you saw a movie with a certain actor that just kind of, for lack of a better word, does it for you.
Well, I mean, the movie was, no, I'm kidding. The movie was Magic Mike.
Magic Mike, yeah, which is...
there was a little bit of... dancing.
Dancing. Very choreographed, classy.
Yeah. It was good. Not as good as actually what I thought it would be, but it was nice to see what everyone was talking about.
Yeah. So that was, I thought that was kind of interesting, and along no problem. But there's a reason why I'm kind of bringing that up, because it kind of, while I was watching that movie, it kind of took me back to the interview we did last week, which was about being in the limelight, being the center of focus, but not losing yourself in that world.
That was a perfect example.
Yeah, and in this movie, we're not going to give it away, but I thought it was really interesting how one of the characters was able to resist getting sucked up in that world, or at least he thought, but he too was being affected by it without realizing it. And then another character was just very, very obviously sucked up into that world, and it just changed who he was, and just I can't stress this enough. People who are in this type of environment as we are, we have to be very diligent to really keep our ground, keep our focus where it needs to be, because people are looking up. I mean, not so much me, but more Brittany. People are looking up and they want to know, like, everything, like I mentioned before about you. So your sphere of influence is huge. It's huge. And when you say something, people listen.
That reminds me, actually, and last Sunday we did the same thing. Something from church from today reminds me, it's not, being a leader and whatever you are, are leading in, it's not just about where you are going, it's who is following you. How many people are following you? So it's not, I want to be this leader just because I want to be a millionaire. I want to do all these things for me. I want to reap all these benefits. Being a leader isn't something that is just where you are going. It's who's behind you and who's following you, and how what you're doing affects everyone behind them, because then it just keeps going. So that reminds me a lot of kind of what we're talking about.
Yeah, what I think the preacher talked about. If you're a leader and you're going somewhere, no one's following, you're just taking a walk.
Yeah, you're just going for a walk.
You're just going for a walk. So I thought that was really good. But yeah, again, and it's crazy how, we get something from church, but this is real world. We'll go to see a movie like Magic Mike and be able to, see like a lesson or see the consequences of sin, of not making the right choices. So I thought that was kind of interesting too, even with that. And it just echoes what we said the week before. This is, if you will, our mission field. This is where we go and we influence other people. And for those of you that are in this, or who are looking to be one day where Brittany is, or I'd like to one day compete, and I'd like people to come to me in the gym and ask me, what do I do for chest? What do I do for my legs to grow? My shoulders? Wow, your arms are awesome. How do you do that? Or Brittany, how do you stay so small? What do you do for your abs? And Brittany's got great abs. What do you do for your abs? Yeah.
Somebody asked me that online this week. I get it all the time, but all of a sudden it clicked in my head, because I can't stress enough. Speaking of abs, just really quick, they're made in the kitchen right here. Okay,
good
so I told her, I said, I avoid things like high fructose and corn syrup. Those are my exercises for abs.
Good point. Yeah, no, definitely. People want to know this, and I think it's for those of us that get those types of questions, we always have to be careful, in being able to realize that we have a certain responsibility for the privileges and the attention that we get. And that's where this sport stops being a self-centered, or this culture, if you want to call it that, stops being self-centered, and it starts to be something that can expand to other people. And I hope in these next 12 weeks you guys get that from us. You guys realize that that we, even though we move in that, we're humans and we'll fail, and we're not at 100% on our game all the time, but our intentions are to make this a positive thing. And I think you'll get that, and that's why I'm so proud to have Brittany here, so you can see someone who does it, who's got more experience and has been at it longer than I have, who has more responsibilities than I, who's got an older child than I do, and how she's done it. So on that note, which I think, we'll keep talking about that and harping on that. On that note, we're gonna just go over some of the things that Brittany brings to the table as far as the experience with cooking, and you're gonna show us a few things today on.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do a couple quick things, especially since we've already kept everybody a little bit so long, but I'm gonna show you a few ways to make some vegetables and some chicken and fish quick in the oven. So this is something that is not like, actually it tastes good enough to be your first date food. Well, at least I think so. We can ask Dennis here, because he had the same food last week that I helped him with. But So I'm going to show you some ways to make some vegetables, some asparagus, maybe some green beans, and then touch base on how I bread my fish and chicken really quick. But it's great to have, especially if you have kids around, they're hungry at night, you come home from work, you're tired, your food's ready to go. So I'll kind of show you a little bit of that.
Great.
And we'll go into that more too, and I'll show you a little bit more in detail, some other cooking stuff that I have, later in the weeks as well. But today we're just going to do a quick way to prepare some meals for the week.
Great.